Right, so this final section is the the theory demonstration. Alright, so first of all, you're asking to explain the circle of fifths. Circle of fifths is a way to depict the relationship between the 12 notes that exist in music. Now, it's usually represented in a circular form. Start with C at the top, and if you go in a clockwise fashion, you have a fifth above for every step, and a fourth below for every step back, counterclockwise. Essentially, what this does is shows you the relationship between a fifth apart for each note, and it goes 12 around. So consecutively from C, it will go round, and there will be 12 fifths that come back to C, if C is at the top. And there will also be 12 fourths that come back round to C, if that makes sense. And it's also useful for finding the relative chords to a particular chord if you're in a particular key. So for instance, if you're in the key of C, the fifth chord is G, the fourth is an F. So typically in blues you got a 1-4-5, and in a lot of modern music you got a 1-4-5 structure. So you'd have C, F, C, F, C, F, C, G, F, C, or some sort of variation of that. Right, so going on to key signatures. A key signature is what essentially dictates what the what notes and chords are going to sound consonant or dissonant within what you're playing. So, for instance, if you're in the key of C major and you play a C sharp, that'd be very dissonant. You could use something like this for effect, like again, as I mentioned in blues, you could have a diminished chord using C sharp to add tension before you come back to the C, which is a different thing. It's like a half-step cadence, just to add tension. But again, with the key signature will dictate what naturally sounds nice to the ear, sounds nice to the ear, or what will sound, like I said, dissonant. And obviously, it's like a natural rule, but it can always be broken. Alright, moving on to note intervals. Touched on that with the circle of fifths. A note interval means that when you're, say for instance, again, you're in the key of C major, your root note is C. So you're doing a 1-4-5, your root note is a C. If you want to figure out a third, it's the third tone above. So in the C major scale, you have C, D, E, F, G, A, and B, and back to C. So there's 8 notes in that. Sorry, seven notes in that scale, and the 8th note comes back to C. So, for instance, the second interval would be a D, third interval would be an E, fourth would be an F, and so on. So it's quite self-explanatory as long as you know the key signature that you're in and the root notes and what have you. So, for instance, a scale. Moving on to scales. Again, in C major, what I just did with those intervals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is the series of notes within a key signature that relate to each other perfectly and create harmonic harmonic resonance throughout, to create a particular sound. So for instance, you have a C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and back to C. You can have a C minor harmonic or melodic. So you've got C, with the melodic minor, I believe it's C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, and back to C. So yeah, a series of notes within a key signature, all relative to each other, and there are various scales, obviously. Moving on to chords, you've got your simple tritones. So again, C major, C consists of a first, third, and a fifth. So again, going back to the intervals, the first note is your root note, and you get your third and the fifth above from the root of the scale. So that would be a C, E, and a G, all natural. Right, so that's your root chord. It's the first position. And what you can do as a player is invert those chords. So the second inversion would be, first inversion would be E, G, and C. So you're moving up or down to invert them. And play, just to get different sounds or to complement the other players who you're playing with. And then obviously you can add, when you get to your major sevenths and minor sevenths and dominant sevenths, you're adding the seventh note. And obviously a popular chord in modern music for a very long time is the dominant seventh chord, so it creates tension. And then when you have that perfect cadence, you can release back to, you release that tension and it naturally feels good. Right, so rhythm, the rhythm of something would be, rhythm of a piece would be, dictates the way it's played. So for instance, a rumba feel would be probably quite a lot different to a march. A march would be very straight, if that makes sense, and whereas something like a rumba or a samba, like Latin feel, would be more syncopated rhythmically. So moving on to note value. Note value dictates how long to play a note. So you've got I've learnt the American way of naming them. So you've got your whole notes, half notes, quarter notes, three-quarter notes, eighth notes, 16ths, 30-seconds, sometimes known as, I believe the English method is, I think it's breves, semi-breves, quavers, semi-quavers, demis, semi-quavers, and hemis, goes on. Could go on infinitely, depending on how quickly one could play. And, right, finally, time signatures. So, when you're looking at time signatures, you have to understand that there is that music is usually split up into bars. So that is, depending on the time signature, depends on how many beats are in the bar. So going back to note value, say you had a whole note, so a breve, which is 4 beats. If you were in 4/4 time, that one note would fit perfectly into that bar, so into that 4/4 bar. So that has nothing to do with the speed of the track. It literally has to do with how many notes are going to fit into that bar. So for instance, you could have a waltz, which is a 3/4 timing, so you'd only have 3 notes in the bar. So from a drummer's perspective, that would be a kick, dum, dum, kick, dum, dum. So that would be the space that you're trying to fill in each bar. And then leading on from that, we have tempo, which dictates the speed of what you're playing and the time signature that you're playing. Thank you.